thanks everyone so much for joining me today. My name is Matt Fox and this is Break a Read. Today I am with a good friend of mine, Salvador Flores from the University of Michigan. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. So
Awesome.
how are things out in Texas?
They're all right. It's. I would like to say things are normally like slowly starting to normalize, but you know, like there's a lot going on. There's a bunch of resurgence in the coronavirus over here, so it's just like, what can I do? I got to continue to stay like indoors and do what I'm doing.
Exactly.
But but yeah, so everything's okay otherwise.
Good. It's,
And
it's it's good that you're with your family during all this too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I wanted to kind of do a brief overview and background of kind of where you came from, what your story is like, because
Okay.
I really like to start my interviews this way so that the people watching and listening can get like a good glimpse of, who you are, who made you who you are today.
Okay. So like where I came from, as in like what schools I went to, like high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I grew up here in a town called Galena Park, inside, bigger Houston city. Yeah, so I went to all Galena Parks, so Galena Park Elementary, middle school, high school. But yeah, so this is kind of like where I grew up. And both my parents, from Mexico, so I feel like I'm also from there as well, because we go visit there a lot.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so everything has kind of slowly like just influenced the way I kind of grown up in like this area too. Um, Everything kind of started in middle school and then went into high school. Middle school is where I started playing the saxophone, and it kind of, just went up, just kind of went on from there.
Hmm.
So this is where, yeah, where everything happened, I guess. This is where I grew up. Mhm.
Awesome. So, can you tell me a little bit about like, because we're the same age and we went through auditions and everything together for
Mhm.
undergrad and stuff like that, and I know everyone has their own very specific experience. What was like, what was your experience like when you were auditioning for your undergrad, and what actually led you to choose University of Michigan?
So that was a really long process, actually. I think I started back so my band director in high school, she told me about the University of Michigan. She knew about Donald Cinta,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew about him, and she knew about Dr. McAllister, and she kind of like threw those names at me my sophomore year of high school, and I was like, "Who's that?" But so she found out eventually that they taught at Interlochen, and she tried to push me to go that one summer after my sophomore year. I didn't end up doing it. I don't know why. I just didn't. I didn't apply or anything. And then the next year came around. She kept pushing me to do it 'cause she really wanted me to go meet this guy. And
Yeah.
I like looked into it on my own time, and like looked up videos of him. I was like, so who is this guy that she's talking about? 'Cause she really urged me to like look him up and everything.
Yeah.
So that's where I discovered Dr. McAllister and like the whole Michigan lineage. And I was like, well, this would be really cool to like go get to know him and like just do something outside of Texas in general. Because by that point, I still hadn't been, hadn't been doing things that were outside of the state. I was just so focused on Texas All State, and that's it. That's all that
Yeah.
existed.
Hmm.
So she was really pushing me to just go out and do something else other than like Texas All State. And it was also a great opportunity to get to know a professor, that was outside of the borders of Texas. So I went to Interlochen, did that, and that's where I met him. Um, and like I guess that summer, I also wanted to devote to like growing myself first of all, and like just getting to
Hmm.
do something else, and also just getting to know Dr. McAllister and seeing like how I would click with him and everything. Because by this point, it was the summer after my junior year, and I was revving up to get ready for auditions and stuff. So I
Right.
wanted to see if I should take this out of state audition or not. And like I was only gonna be able to do a maximum of like one because I just couldn't afford to do all the flights and
Yeah, it's
everything.
a
You
lot.
know, yeah, it's a lot, and it's just a ton of time. It would have taken a lot away from my high school attendance.
Hmm.
Um, so because I know that they were particularly strict about it, so I couldn't afford to do as much as I wanted to do. So I wanted to see if I clicked with them and see if I should, go out and do this audition. And everything, for me at least, it clicked. I got along with him really well. I really liked his teaching style. So that's where I, added him to like the list of places I want to audition to. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the dream school. That's where I want to go, and that's where I discovered it. So that's where I added that to the list, and then I added other schools to the list based on my prior experiences with the teachers, because I had taken lessons with them before and got to know them.
Hmm.
So it was Michigan, it was University of Texas at Austin. Stephen Page is awesome. I also auditioned to Stephen F. Austin State University with Nathan Nab.
Okay.
He was awesome teacher, awesome guy. And then I auditioned to Sam Houston State with Moss. He was
Okay, cool.
one of the directors of NASA, the competition
Hmm.
chair. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I formulated the list. And eventually, after auditions were over, it was going to come down to like scholarships for me. Like it was going to come down to where I got money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to get some money to go to Michigan, and that's where I ended up. So
Awesome. And
that
it
was
seems,
that was
it
most of
seems
my
like it was the
audition
right
experience.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
done my fair share of growing there.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yeah, that's awesome. And throughout all this whole process, did you have a private lesson teacher that you were taking lessons with?
so it wasn't until my fall semester of my senior year that I took lessons with Dan Geelock. So that's where I started
Okay.
taking them with him like every week or every other week, depending on like schedules and everything. And that's because I got a scholarship to go study with him. Before that, I would take a lesson with him here and there, where I could
Okay.
afford to and where I had time to. Um,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until then that I started taking lessons, and this was revving up for auditions as well. You know.
Yeah.
hmm
Awesome. Just out of
Yeah.
curiosity, what was your audition rep?
Audition rep, not as difficult as you might think. It wasn't any of like the super flashy stuff. It was like Tableau and first movement of eBear. I think that was it.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, it's what I felt strongly with. It's what I felt, I could like really knock out of the park and like not
Hmm.
take so many, risks. So it's just what I felt comfortable with at the time, and that's I went full force with it. See what happens. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great. So I want to kind of transition to, current day. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you were maybe planning on doing this summer that didn't work out, or, things that you were hoping to do this past semester that didn't work out?
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things I had on my list, and they just didn't happen, because of all this coronavirus stuff.
Hmm.
But one of the things I had on my schedule that was really, really important to me was the Yamaha Young Artists, the summer
Mm.
symposium that was going to
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, and that got canceled. I was really looking forward to that. It was a huge performance opportunity. I was going to get to meet, like all of the Yamaha Artists department, the relations department, and get to know all of them personally, and
Yeah.
and just meet just meet the other the other people who were selected for the program, because I knew some of them, and I looked into the others, and they were all fantastic musicians. So I was like, this is an awesome opportunity. And then it just ended up getting canned. I'm sure it got postponed, and I still don't know for when. But
Okay.
yeah, but that was one thing I was really looking forward to. And I think it would have been happening, what's today? June 15th. It would have been happening this weekend, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Or it was somewhere around here, either last weekend or this weekend. Um, but
Okay.
yeah. Another thing, I found out about it recently, but it would have been performing with Pershing's Own. That
Oh,
would have
yeah.
been either this weekend or last weekend. I can't remember.
Well,
Another
congratulations on that
opportunity.
again, by the way.
Thank you so Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much. Really looking forward to that one. That one is supposed to be postponed for a few more months, but everything is up in the air, like with everything
Yeah.
else. So still have no idea. It was that, and then I was looking forward to a tour. It was a tour of New York, and then we were going to Vienna and then Poland. And
Oh, wow.
this was with a little, I think it was like a little chamber orchestra performing a bunch of lost like Jewish manuscripts.
Okay.
So we are supposed to be performing that music
Was that with
and
Michigan?
all
That was
these,
with the
yeah, it
school?
was with
Okay.
Michigan, with the school, and we're supposed to be doing that as like a little project, and we're supposed to record it at the end. So included in the orchestra was me and two other saxophonists, and Brian Catcher and Walt
Hmm.
Puyer.
Cool.
So we were all supposed to be a part of this tour, and it was going to be awesome. You know, we were all looking super forward to it. It was for a great cause, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, the whole thing, like everything else, had to be scrapped. And we're pretty sure it might be postponed as well, but you know, we
You
have no
know,
idea.
yeah, at least things,
But
at least these
mhm.
things are getting postponed. That's the best thing
Right,
about it.
right.
Like,
Instead of just completely canceled, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah. But I think that that all starts to back up onto each other. So hopefully it doesn't get to a point where all of our events start getting like postponed in a way to where they start overlapping because there's too much going on next year, you
Hmm.
know? Because that could be a possibility. But yeah. But yeah, at least all these things are getting postponed instead of, you
Right.
know, just completely canceled and completely gone, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Fingers crossed that next year isn't too crazy with everything going on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, speaking of next year, do you have anything like coming up in the fall? Maybe a recital you were gonna do that you postponed to fall, or any recording projects, things that you're looking
Yeah,
forward to?
I was planning a recital. It was like after this whole like super hectic year, I wanted to like, you know, take the time to learn repertoire I didn't know that I might have skipped. You know, so
Hmm.
just little pieces here and there, like the Debussy, or I actually have never performed the Creston Sonata. I've only
Okay.
ever
Yeah.
just
Me
like
neither.
learned
I
it, you
haven't
know.
either.
Yeah. So I mean, just all these little things that I may have skipped over. I wanted to do a recital of just those, and you know, perform them and learn them, and you know, have some experience with them. So that's a recital I definitely want to do at some point, like maybe this fall. Um, other things that might have been canceled. So I was supposed to perform on a few of my like senior friends' recitals. So that also got canned. So I lost those recitals. They lost those recitals more
Hmm.
importantly, you know. So that was a you know, it's a shame, but it's
Right.
you know, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I was also supposed to do a few recording projects. I wanted to create like an album of works by the end of this year, by the end of my junior year, but it didn't end up happening. You know, I wanted to create
Right.
a one video recording. It was a recording of the David. So I
Okay.
wanted to create a high quality video recording with a bunch of cameras and everything. But I'm postponing until next semester because it just wasn't going to happen. You know, with everything going on, everyone got kicked off campus. So I mean, you know, but yeah. So these are all these are all projects that I had, you know, I had planned, but didn't end up happening. So I'm having to move these to next semester, hopefully. You know,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about planning a few, you know, just online recitals, like just like recording a few things, putting them together, and then, you know, posting it somewhere, you know, or
Yeah.
doing
A lot
something
of people are
live.
doing that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It seems like another great option to be able to do that. But who knows? Everything, all of these things are still in the works for me. Right now, I'm preparing for another competition in September. Hopefully, also happens. It's the ALS competition. It's held in Germany.
Okay.
This year is for saxophone, French horn, and clarinet.
Cool.
So I wanted to try and do that and see if it happens, it happens. You know, but
Yeah.
it was just like right now for me, it's a big goal to push towards to kind of help me keep practicing because you know, and motivation is really hard to hold on to right now. You know, it's a
Yeah.
thing everyone is struggling with, especially me. Like I'm having a lot of issues holding on to it. You know, continuing to push forward. So that's like one little star to like kind of try to keep going towards out of like a bunch of things that I'm trying to grasp to. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. No, for
but
sure. I mean,
yeah,
motivation is really difficult right now.
yeah,
I go like back and forth. I have days where I'm like really motivated and I go
yeah.
and I practice for hours, and then there are days when I'm just like I don't want to touch the horn.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Um.
Yeah, I've gone my fair share of days without touching the horn. You know, like sometimes it's just I get nothing done on it, and I pick it
Mm-hmm.
up, maybe play on it for like 5 minutes and I feel no motivation. Other days I'm just like, holy crap. Oh, yes, I'm in the zone, like I
Yeah.
get my grind in for the day, as usual. And then, yeah. And then they're kind of all mixed up. It's at random for me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just fortunate because Helios, we started safely rehearsing again. We have this big room at
Mhm.
school we've been safely rehearsing in, and that's been
Okay.
at least good for my like mental health because that's just like making music with people in person is just something that
Yeah.
I've really missed, and it's really awesome that we get the chance to play together again.
Yeah, I've been able to do that fortunately a few times over the past few weeks. I mean, it's not with a quartet or anything. It's just doing like the Mexican music that I do and like playing these gigs and stuff. So we're
Cool.
playing at like it's like me and my dad. There's a singer and there's one more guitar player. We kind of just keep our distance from each other and like kind of play these gigs and keep our distance from like everyone else that's there and kind of just play for the night. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
nice to be able to play with other people, instead of just trying to
Mm-hmm.
constantly practice on my own. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
definitely.
totally get you there. It's good for the
Yeah,
mental health for sure.
yeah. So you're a saxophone performance major, right?
Hmm.
So do you have like a very specific career path that you see yourself taking in the future, or I don't know. I'm just curious as to what your goal is.
Yeah, I guess the end goal for me is, eventually, become a saxophone professor, and I guess
Okay.
do a similar thing to what McAllister is doing right now, just to continue working with other composers, continue to develop the field,
Yeah.
and keep pushing like the saxophone further. But another big thing I definitely want to do, is to continue to further like the people of color, like whole aspect of the classical
Yeah.
saxophone community. And I think especially within the yeah, especially like the classical community as a whole, it definitely needs some work. But
Yeah. Not just
the
saxophone.
first
Yeah,
the
you're totally right.
yeah, exactly. But the first step for me at least is within the classical saxophone community, and I want to create like an initiative, specifically for Latinos first, because I don't see a lot of us like really really like going out there and like doing as much as we can. I think we can
Mm-hmm.
do more. So I really want to get us to go out there more and like put ourselves out there, because we're not out there enough. So I
Yeah,
think
and
it would be great, and especially to get us to work with more Latino composers too, and like just do things like that.
yeah.
So that's a big first step I want to like try and take. Um, so yeah, I mean, so
No,
that's a
that's
big
really
goal.
great.
So that's a big goal I have in mind, for at least the next few years. So let's see what
Yeah.
comes out of that.
And I know we're both fairly young, but like you're already such a great role model already. Like you're already doing great in that area. So, kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know you went to Dinant last summer, which is so awesome. Congratulations on making it as far as you did.
Thank
That's so
you.
awesome. I was wondering if you could maybe tell me a little bit about that experience because I'm sure it was just incredible to travel and just make so much music. Like, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, it was definitely an experience to remember. That's not going
yeah,
anywhere. I think I went in there, one musician came out another. It was that kind of life-changing experience. I don't think I'd ever heard so much good playing in a single day, let alone hearing
wow,
that every day for 2 weeks.
yeah,
Because I would go to as many of the performances as I could, and it was mind blowing. It was every single performance there. There was no weak player there. Everyone was like on top of their game. It was awesome. And I mean, seeing the camaraderie between everyone, like it's not a very social competition, but like every once in a while, there's like a big gathering of saxophone players, and everyone kind of gets to know each other a little bit. Um, it's definitely not as social as maybe something like the NASA conference, where
mm-hmm.
everyone is like at the conference getting to know each other. Like there's no conference for this; it's just a competition, and people usually stay with like a host family that's maybe like
Okay,
15 minutes away from the competition site. So they have to rely on them for rides and everything. And not everyone
right,
is at the competition site at the same time. So, anyways, so it's not a very social competition, but the people I did get to meet were awesome people. You know, everyone was amazing. Everyone was nice. Um, but it was just getting to hear all these other different styles and interpretations, like things maybe I not like. I really heard the value in them at this, and I came out doing a bunch of these things, you know. So it really changed me. It really opened up my mind to a lot of different ideas and doing a bunch of other
That's so
things,
great.
you know. Mhm.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, and I mean, it was also just really cool just getting to go to Dinant. You know, it's such a
Yeah.
historic location for us as saxophone players. You know, so it's like it was just awesome. Remember seeing the first giant saxophone and just like, you know, I don't know, I was just like, holy crap. You know,
Yeah,
and I like
that's so
went
cool.
and took like 50,000 pictures with it. You know,
That's
but
definitely on my
yeah, so
bucket
it was
list.
really cool. Yeah, absolutely, added to the bucket list, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's so great.
Mhm.
So I'm transitioning a little bit. Do you have like a performance that you is like the most memorable performance that you've ever had, whether it be, you know, positive or negative? I kind of want to hear both takes on that.
So like best and worst perform, like most
Yeah,
terrifying and okay.
yeah.
Well, I guess most positive performance. I'll go with that one first. It was hold on, I got to think about this one a little bit more. Oh, I think it might have been getting to perform with an orchestra for the first time.
Hmm.
I think that was like an eye-opening experience for me, and like I don't think I've ever enjoyed myself more than that. You know, it was kind of like, you know, it was jolting. It was nerve-wracking at first, you know, because I'd never performed as a soloist before. But getting to do that for the first time, like after the first 5 seconds, it was like, I don't know, it was awesome. Like it was really cool to be able to do that, you know.
That's so
So it
awesome.
was, yeah. So that was definitely one of my most positive experiences performing. And the performance went well, you know. So that's always a big plus. It's always the cherry on top, you know. Like,
Right.
but yeah. And then I guess most terrifying performance. Um, it was honestly probably the winners concert at NASA.
Really.
That was, yeah, that was probably my most terrifying performance, with the Denant performance being a very, very close second. But I think the one at NASA was particularly scary because the audience was literally just saxophone players, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it had its specific level of intimidation, you know. It was terrifying.
I can
But
understand that. Yeah.
yeah, so it had its little, you know, it I don't know, it was just really terrifying to walk out there. Um and like, you know, I don't know. So I mean, I can't really put it into words right now, but it was definitely scary for sure. So
No, I
that was
bet.
that I think that's one of the most nervous performances I've ever had. Like I've never been more nervous than that. And the other performances may come like super close to that, but I think that one takes the cake just by a
No,
little
I
bit.
can. That's just, you know, frightening to even like
Yeah,
fathom. Just playing in an audience packed, and Evelyn Smith isn't small. Like that's a big hall, just
big. It's
packed of
big.
saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was terrifying for sure. So that was
yeah.
nerve wracking.
Well, that was an
So
amazing
yeah.
performance. So
Thank
you should
you.
feel
Thank
really
you.
really great about it. I'm sure like
Thank you so much.
everyone is thinking the same thing. Yeah, congrats. That was awesome.
Yeah, I really, really tried to push through that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
um, yeah. So now moving a little bit away from the saxophone and from music, do you have any hobbies that you find yourself doing, maybe more in quarantine or just in general, that are not music related?
Um, I mean, I don't have any like specific hobbies that I like to do like constantly. Like I don't have like a one specific thing that I like to do. I personally like to do just try a lot of different things. Like I don't know, just do a lot of different things. Like for just random example, like a few weeks ago, I really got into like web design and coding just because I
Oh,
got bored and
cool.
wanted to learn about it, you know. So I got into like HTML, JavaScript, and all of that stuff, and I like dove into it a little bit. But like that's one example of like a thing that I like to do. So I guess my hobby is like trying new things and like learning about different things. Um,
Yeah.
But if there's one that's been most consistent, I love going out into like wilderness and just like hiking or, just doing stuff like that. So every chance I get, and it's not very often that I get to do that, being from Houston, just this
Yeah.
giant, concrete jungle. But every time I get to go to Mexico or somewhere else, or somewhere else it's not, like Houston, I try and do that as much as I can.
Yeah.
It just feels nice,
I
Like
wish we had time
yeah.
when you were here in
Yeah,
Arizona. I wish we had
yeah.
time to do that.
Yeah, we ran out of time. But I really wanted to do that one for sure though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that's one of the things I like to do, I guess. I got into cooking a little bit.
Cool.
I just trying like cooking a bunch of different recipes and stuff and learning new recipes, learning how to cook specific things. But yeah, I mean that's about as far as like my hobbies go. I haven't really dove into one specific. I haven't found one that I'm like super passionate about, that
Right.
I really get into. So
Yeah.
I guess eventually I'm gonna find it as long as I keep trying a bunch of different things. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And you mentioned cooking, so that kind of segues into my next question. What's your favorite food?
Ooh,
Whether it be like a food that you cook or a food that you just like buy and really enjoy.
this one's really hard, man. This is really difficult. Oh wow, you have no idea. I think maybe I guess if I had to put one out there, like one thing that just never fails for me is tacos al pastor specifically. Like those
Okay.
just smack every time. And you already know it's like you saw me eating these things in Orlando and at MTNA or
Yep.
freshman year of college. Every single time, man, I had them. I couldn't get away from them. Like I guess those are the
You
one
showed me
food that
them. You
yeah,
were the one
yeah.
who showed me that. I've never had it.
They're awesome. They're awesome. They're like they never fail for me. Like every time I have them, I'm like, holy crap, this was amazing. Like they're just really good. But like I don't know, there's so many foods out there that like come so close to that. But if I
Yeah.
had to pick one, that would definitely be number one, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah.
Cool. So we're about at the time where I want to like wrap things up. But
Okay.
briefly, do you have a message for anyone who's watching? Right now is a really difficult time, and we don't really know what's going to happen in the next couple weeks, let alone the next semester. So for the people watching, do you maybe have a word of advice? Anything?
Yeah. And I think this goes like this comes from like things that I'm struggling with too. It's just keep your head up high, and keep moving forward, keep trying to find things that allow you to rediscover why you're doing what you're doing. Just always be trying new things, always like try a different route of what you've been doing and try to find a deeper passion for what it is that you do. Um, I've been personally trying to do that and finding a deeper passion for just saxophone playing in general, and not just doing it for the enjoyment of like the post performance enjoyment, but like actually truly like to the bottom of my heart enjoying what I do in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's just so difficult to find sometimes, and that's what I've really been trying to do and trying to find that passion that I have. So if there's any message I want to put out there is to look for that, look for that
Yeah.
self-lighting spark. um, and once you find that, times like these are going to get easier, a lot easier to go through because you'll be
Mm-hmm.
doing it, out of true passion and not doing it for some recital that you're doing in like 2 months or
Exactly.
something, or not, or some recording project that you might have coming up. You'll be doing it because you truly enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that. It was from Don Cinta. Every single day. He doesn't perform anymore. He doesn't make anymore. He literally practices for himself every single day. So yeah, and to this day, he's still practicing. I hear he practices at a hall named Reveille Hall. That's pretty close to Michigan. So I mean, he just practices every single day. Here, it's still super early in the morning, and he practices for himself, because he has a
Mm-hmm.
true passion for it. So I guess look for that, like make your fullest effort to look for that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's really great. Thank you for that. I'm sure a lot of people
yeah.
will appreciate that, and yeah,
That's,
thank you.
mhm.
Yeah. So it's about that time. Do you have a read that you'd like to break for us on camera?
This one specifically, I really dislike.
Any reason?
It's just,
Or just
oh, it just doesn't sound good. It's been causing me so many issues here, man.
yeah,
But
I feel
yeah.
that. I have a read to break with you today. So,
Okay, sounds good.
all right.
Ready?
You want to count down from 3?
All
All
right.
right.
3, 2, 1.
Awesome. Oh, like a piece just fell. Well, thanks so much for coming on today, man. This was a lot of fun, and it was great to chat with you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, I get to see you some point soon in the future.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we will. I'm hopefully it comes a lot sooner than we think. But yeah, it all depending on what's going on and what the world's looking
Yeah.
like. You know, but
Yeah. Well.
yeah,
Yeah. Take care. Have a great rest of your summer. And hopefully things go back to normal in the fall.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, and you have a great rest of your summer too. All right.
All right. Thanks, man. Take care. Have a great
Yeah.
rest of your day.
Take care.